In this video, I'm going to walk you through some of the things you might see on part 2 of your quiz. And if you look up to the right-hand side of your screen, I made a list for you of things that you need to know for part 2 of the quiz. So you should know the forms of equations, which, as a reminder, are down here, plus the slope formulas down there that you need to know, how to graph linear equations, and writing equations like given 2 points or given a point and a slope. So I wanted to go also through one of the manipulating equations problems because I saw a lot of people got this one wrong on their first go. So hopefully you find that this is a useful video. Alright, if we look at number 6, this is number 6 from your review packet. This is going to require more than one step. If we're trying to get something that's in the denominator by itself, first we need to get it out of the denominator. So V equals d over t. It's a very common physics equation. Okay, so we need to get that out of the denominator by multiplying by t on both sides. Okay, and that cancels on the right. So you get t times v equals d. Okay, well we've got d solved for, but that's not what we wanted. So if you want t by itself, there's multiplication going on here, so we can divide by v. Okay, and then we get t. These v's cancel out. You get t equals distance over velocity, and that's when you stop. I saw a lot of people have t equals velocity over distance. I'm not exactly sure where that came from. Maybe it was just missing steps or whatever, but hopefully this clears that up. Okay. Now this is the second thing from your list that you need to know how to do, and that is graphing linear equations. I also included this one because you have to change it from one form to another. In order to graph, it's most useful if it's in slope-intercept form. Okay, so let's put this into slope-intercept form off to the right-hand side. Slope-intercept form is when we have y by itself on the left side and everything else on the right-hand side, and we want separate terms. So our mx should be separate from our b. So 4x plus 2y plus 6 equals 0. Okay. We want to get y by itself, so the first thing we want to do is get 2y by itself. So we want to get 4x, subtract it, take it to the other side, and we also want to subtract 6 from both sides. So this and this are going to zero out, and we'll have 2y equals negative 4x minus 6, and then we're going to divide by 2. We're going to get y equals, alright, negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2x, and then negative 6 minus 2 is minus 3. Okay, once it's in slope-intercept form, you can look at your b term. So in this case, that's negative 3. That is our y-intercept. Remember, y is the one that goes up and down, x is the one that goes left and right. So if our y-intercept is at negative 3, you can plot a point on the y-axis at negative 3. Okay. Now we want to look at what our slope is. Our slope, or m, is negative 2. Okay. We could also think about this as negative 2 over 1. You can write any whole number as itself over 1. This is our rise, and I put it in quotes because you think of rise as going up, but that's not always the case. And then the 1 is our run. Okay, so we're going to start at our point here, and we're going to say, okay, we've got a rise of negative 2, which means going down 2, and a run of positive 1, which means we're going to go to the right 1. And that's our point. So I went down 2, right 1, and that creates a slope of negative 2. Okay, and then all you need to do is connect these points. Okay, Draw an arrow on each side to show that it goes on forever. And you're done. That's going to be your slope, or your graph. Alright, so now I want to look at writing equations. Our first example is going to be writing an equation given 2 points. So in order to do this, we need to find what the slope is. That's the first step. So we're going to use this equation over here on the right hand side. Slope is the difference of the y's over the difference of the x's. So we're going to do -1 minus 8 m equals this. Okay, and then 4 minus -3. Okay, this will give us -9 over +7. Okay, leave it as a fraction. Okay, ultimately we want this to be in slope-intercept form, but the easiest thing to do here is to start in point-slope form, which is this one, and then manipulate it into slope-intercept form. So let's start y minus. Now to get your y1 and x1, you're just going to pick one of the points that you're given and use those. So y minus -1, that's actually the same thing as y plus 1, so I'm just going to write it like that originally, equals m, which is -9/7 times x minus 4. Okay, and then I'm going to distribute this -9/7. So y plus 1 equals, okay, -9/7 times x is -9/7 x. That one's easy enough. And then for -9/7 times -4, you're just going to put that in your calculator like this. -9 divided by 7 times -4. Okay, I'm going to do that in my calculator right now. -9 divided by 7 times -4. You're going to get a decimal, and then to make that into a fraction, remember you can use the math button, which is on the left-hand row or column, and then hit the little one that has an arrow and says frac, short for fraction. Press enter twice, and you should get +36/7. Okay, but we're not quite done. Y is not by itself, so we need to subtract 1 from both sides. And in your calculator, you can just press -1. It'll take your old answer, which was 36/7, and take away 1. Press enter, and it'll actually give you the fraction. It should. Depending on your calculator, maybe it won't. But if it doesn't, just change it back into a fraction. Okay, plus 29/7. There we go. And last but not least, let's look at this example, which is writing an equation in what's called standard form, which you don't need to memorize, but I'll show you how to get it into that form. In this case, we're given our slope, and we're given a point. So again, using point-slope form from up here is going to be the most lucrative. So y minus 5 equals 4 times x, and then minus -2, that's +2. Okay. We want to manipulate it until it looks like this, where we've got a number times x plus a number times y equals a number by itself with no variables. So I'm going to distribute this 4. So 4x plus 8. I'm distributing. Okay, and then I'm going to bring the 5 over to the right-hand side. Okay, so y equals 4x plus 13. Okay, and then I'm going to bring the x to the other side. So now we have -4x plus y equals 13. Now, generally, as a rule, when you write an equation in standard form, a should be positive. Okay, so in order to fix this, I'm going to multiply by -1 on both sides. Because you can do this as long as you do it to both sides. So when I multiply by -1, that just changes the sign of everything. So we're going to have positive 4x and then minus y equals -13. And that will be your equation. Alright, so hopefully this was useful. Feel free to go back and watch different parts of this as you prepare for your quiz, and make sure that you memorize or learn, somehow remember these formulas over on this side and these forms of linear equations for your quiz. Good luck!